I want to talk about the wall of awful, right?
Okay.
Like when we're staring at a task that we just physically cannot bring ourselves to do, and then that panic starts to set in. What can we do in instances like that? Like we want to do it.
Mhm.
We would love to do it, but we just can't. We just can't bring
Mhm.
ourselves in that moment. What can we do in that moment to kind of like, I guess, lower the barrier?
Yeah. I would probably get up
Hmm.
and I would
Mm,
leave the space
yeah,
and I would like come back with a different plan. I think that that's a great question. I think it really depends on what the person's experiencing.
sure.
I always go to like preventative things. Like if we know there's a task that we have been procrastinating because it's not fun for us. I
Yeah.
hear a lot of time like I love doing all the work. Like it's but then like I have to finish it. I have to reread the thing.
Mhm.
I have to upload all the stuff or send the emails. It's like that's literally not interesting to me at all. So like your
Yeah.
motivation is not going to give you any dopamine. So our body it's not going to like want to do it. And I always say like if you're staring at a screen for like more than 5 minutes, you haven't done anything, just get up. Like, we're not hurting anyone.
Yeah.
Get up, like, go for a walk, and you could even, like, talk to yourself, right? Just be like, "Alright, we're gonna go in there." You could even write it down. It's like you could always, like, write down on a Post-it, almost plan ahead. Like, there's something I
Yeah.
don't know the science behind this, but planning ahead for what we do is I have found to be really helpful with people with ADHD and for myself. So, the sporadic, let me wake up and figure out what I'm gonna do that day, more often than not, nothing's gonna get done because there's gonna be
Right.
something else on the top of our head that's probably more fun. But if I plan
Mhm.
ahead of time and I almost like my brain and my body are already planning on doing the thing, especially if it's a hard thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
Planning ahead of time, usually like the night before or something. So you're kind of getting
Mm.
ready, like, oh, that thing, I don't want to do
Yeah.
it, but like
Very proactive. Yeah.
proactively, yeah. And then also another thing is separating the tasks. And so I
Mm.
do believe there are different types of tasks. So there's like the admin task that we put off forever, but we finish in 5 minutes.
Yes.
And then there's the ones that take a little bit more of deep work, but they can be fun. They're like the creative, I'm gonna sit
Mhm.
here for a few hours and do this. I always recommend separating those things and not doing them,
Mm.
not like intermixing them
Interesting. Yeah.
because um I think what I had learned is like our brains can take up to 10 minutes to actually lock into a task. So I think a lot of people, I see this with kids a lot or teenagers, they expect like they expect the same feeling with video games. They're like, "Oh, but I was like
Mhm.
they have so much experience with being so interested in something right away." That as adults we sit down and
Yeah.
we're like, "Well, this is still boring."
Yes.
But like it takes our brain a little while to lock in. And then another thing that I found interesting is that when we switch tasks that require different parts of our brain to be working, I like to think of it as it takes a little while for like the lights that are shining really bright to like dim and turn off and the other ones to turn off. So the
Mhm.
transition time is not gonna be immediate either.
Right.
And so separating those tasks to be like, okay, like even if it's 10 minutes, right? I think a lot of times we will say, oh, that's not enough time. Like I'm not being productive in 10 minutes. Like check that story, throw it out because that's not really that's not helpful.
Mhm.
So if we say, okay, I'm gonna do these admin tasks, whether you time block, whether you do whatever that works for you do it and you get up and you leave. Come back and you have a plan for something else. But it's like giving yourself the permission to take breaks, giving yourself the permission to like actually see how are you defining productivity because that word is so loaded with people with ADHD and I totally get why. But a lot of the
Mhm.
time people are like, oh, I'm not being productive if I am not on my computer. And then we break it
Right.
down and it's like you haven't actually done anything. So like how
Right.
are we measuring our productivity? Is productivity actually getting up, going for a walk and coming back and actually doing my work? Is a walk actually productive for what I'm doing compared to what society would deem productive by I don't know, sending an email, refreshing my email 6 times so it makes it look like I'm doing something?